About 60% of the new COVID-19 infections in Cebu City for the past 5 days were traced to the workplace. IATF Deputy Chief Implementer for the Visayas, Melquiades Feliciano, said the Emergency Operations Center is closely monitoring this trend of COVID-19 transmission in the city. Here's Mildred Galarpe for the details.
The Emergency Operations Center of Cebu City recently monitored an increase of patients infected with COVID-19 in the workplace. Interagency Task Force Deputy Chief Implementer for the Visayas, retired General Melquiades Feliciano, said this new mode of transmission has been detected in the last 5 days.
Was first. And again, when Cebu opened, of course, business started to open, and there was this increase on the movement of the individuals. And right now, there is this another challenge of having a moving target, COVID virus, moving target. Of course, with this increase of movement, there is now a transmission that is that we were able to determine through our daily activities of contact tracing, which is now on the workplace.
Feliciano said they are now closely working with the business groups in Cebu City. Feliciano said this new mode of transmission has been detected in the last 5 days.
We cannot even identify them where they are. Until such time we had these contact tracing teams. Within 3 weeks, we were able to contact trace everyone and even extract. This is one important thing, is extraction of the positive transmission in the workplaces. In fact, I can say for the past probably 5 days, workplace transmission is higher than the household transmission. So it's another challenge now for the EOC. But of course, we have been dealing this for the past 5 days, and happy to note that still we can manage to maintain the daily cases at a lower level. Actually, right now, since Cebu opened, it is steadily on the average of 20 cases a day, probably, if I will compute it. And just yesterday, we had the lowest. Actually, it was 7 yesterday. Lowest since the spike. Lowest, it's 7 cases yesterday.
Feliciano said they are now closely working with the business groups in Cebu City to ensure that any surge in cases involving workplace transmission can be averted or controlled. Feliciano said certain protocols are already in place when lockdowns are required in business establishments with reported cases of COVID-19. Galarpe, Newsbits Tonight.